Welcome to Spooky Ass Shit. I am your host, Eric Dwinnells, and tonight my co-host is comedian Tom Cole.
Hey.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
It's going great, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I want to start by telling you a story, Tom.
All right.
A true story.
I'm listening.
All right. When I was living in my very first bachelor pad solo apartment
Okay.
in my early 20s,
All right.
there was a day when I decided to take a nap, as I often decide to take a nap.
All right. That sounds
During
like you.
the day.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah. And I was lying down on my couch on my back,
Right.
and I woke up, and my brain was fully awake. I could look around a little bit and see everything around me,
Okay.
yet I could not move at all,
Really?
really.
Okay.
And I felt like I couldn't breathe,
All right.
and I felt like there was something on my chest.
Okay.
I tried to call out, but if any noise came out at all, it was just,
Really?
okay?
Okay.
Probably the scaredest I've ever been, because I honestly
bet,
thought
yeah.
I was dying. I
bet,
thought I was
yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
If that wasn't bad enough, out of not the corner of my eye, but the center of the bottom of my eye, on the other side of the room, I saw a shadowy figure.
Shadowy.
Shadowy figure.
All right.
And it was just all black. And it looked like, basically the shape, it looked like the Grim Reaper.
Really? Okay. All right.
So again, I mean, I didn't see a skeleton and he didn't have like a sickle or anything. It just looked like a humanoid form.
So a dark shape.
A dark shape with a rounded top.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was spooky.
Yeah.
And then, as it went on, and all this happened much, much faster than I can tell it.
Right.
So this all happened like within seconds.
Right.
But then, next thing I knew, he was basically standing over my head.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I would have peed myself at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Well, maybe I would have if I could control my body at all, but I couldn't.
Okay.
Okay. I don't remember what happened next. Now, I'm not saying I felt him like reach down to me or anything like that. I didn't see that. I didn't see arms even. I just saw like, it looked like a robed, hooded figure.
Okay.
Okay. Shadow figure. And only bit, like I said, I only saw him out of like not the corner of my eye, but that similar kind of thing. But it was the center of my eye and then the top center of my eye.
You
So
definitely
bottom
know
center,
something's
top
there,
center.
though, is
yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah, and you feel like someone's there.
Right.
And then I don't remember if I fell back to sleep or if I just was awake right after that. But at some point, I was able to like wake up.
Okay.
Okay, like fully, and like I could move again and all
Right,
that and everything,
right.
and I was fine. I mean, I was scared
Yeah,
and I
of
was like
course.
breathing heavy, but I was fine. Okay, so that freaked me the fuck out.
Well, of course. I mean, obviously,
Because that-
it's stuck with you.
Is spooky ass shit.
That I was going to say that's textbook spooky ass
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
So I got on the computer and I did a little research, and I found out that there is a name for this type of phenomena. Well, there's a couple names.
What's the name?
The one we're going with tonight is shadow people.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Shadow people. Okay.
Shadow people.
Shadow people.
I am not the only person that this has happened to. In fact, it's becoming a very popular paranormal topic.
Really?
And that's why I wanted to do it here on this first full episode
Spooky
of
ass
Spooky
shit.
Ass Shit. Not only because I had a personal experience with it, but because I feel like it's a really interesting subject that hasn't been done to death yet.
Yeah.
It's getting there. If you look on YouTube and stuff, you can find
Yeah. Give it a couple years.
Yeah.
It will be dead.
you can find information on shadow people. So I wanted to get in on maybe not quite the ground level, but
We're not early to the party. We're middle to the party right here.
yeah.
That's what we're going for. Middle to the party.
That's what I try to aim for.
Yeah. Aim for the middle.
I try to get there around the middle of the party and
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, you blend in a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you just go home.
Yeah. There are different types of shadow people, which we're going to get into later.
Right.
There's basically three main types.
Okay.
All right. And we're going to get into that a little bit later because first, before we get there, I want to talk about how this is actually an ancient phenomenon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But back in the day, people didn't refer to them as shadow people. They were demons. They thought they were demons.
Demons.
Yes.
Demons. All right.
Most famously, the incubus and the succubus. Are you familiar with them?
Very, very little.
Okay. So I really hope I get this right so I don't have to go back and edit it. But I believe that the incubus was a demon who would attack women
Right.
while they were sleeping.
Okay.
He would sit on their chest and in some cases rape them.
Oh, no.
And in some cases to death.
That's a bad way to go.
And a succubus
Yeah.
was the same thing except it was for men.
Okay.
So it was kind of nice of the devil to have like...
So they had gender role.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was nice that he split it up that way.
Yeah, you know. Now, do you think a succubus ever wanted to, he was getting tired of his deal? Him and the incubus, they would, switch jobs for a day?
I'm sure it I mean, they're demons. They would play like free and loose with rules, right?
Yeah.
So,
Like, we don't need to listen to Satan. What does he know?
yeah. And they're already in hell. Like, is it going to get worse?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is there worse hell?
What is it going to give me? More hell? Huh?
My point in telling you all this is that this is a very common experience even through the ages. Because there's an old wives' tale about cats stealing your breath while you sleep. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I suspect that of cats.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes.
You can absolutely see it in their eyes, yeah.
And my cat, whose name is Emma, by the way.
Yeah, she's a sweet cat.
Yeah, American short hair.
But she
calico.
would steal the shit out of your breath.
She tries every night.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, somehow she knows like the sounds, like she knows the difference between me lying on my side and lying on my back. And if she hears me shift to lie on my back, she comes running.
Oh, that
to jump on
motherfucker's
my
vulnerable.
chest. Yeah.
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 Yeah, she knows.
And gets cozy up there. But yeah, there's an old wives' tale that they steal your breath. And there's actually, it's not true that they steal your breath, but there is some truth to the cat sleeping on the chest being dangerous. Because cats do like the chest because it's warm.
Right.
And if they can find a flat area, they like that. But if you're very old or very young, it can be dangerous because your lungs are weak.
Yeah.
And if there's any kind of pressure put on it,
I mean, it
makes it hard to
extra
breathe.
work, yeah.
And just lying on your back is a little bit extra work for your lungs too, because it's a little bit of weight. So the added weight of the cat, if you already have lung problems, can be bad news.
Hence stealing breath.
Right. I mean,
Gotcha.
they were dumb back then, so they didn't think like, oh, it's just the added weight. They just thought
they
that.
they didn't really have their shit
That cat's
together.
stealing my breath. I almost did a southern accent when I did that.
Well,
which wouldn't have made
Didn't you
sense.
know all Aztecs had southern accents?
Yeah. And then I was like, can I do like an old timey British accent? I don't know.
Just do it. Yeah.
I don't know. I could do like a Cockney maybe.
Yeah, let's do
Does
it.
that
Let's
work?
hear it.
All right. That cat's stealing me breath.
Oh my God, was that an Aztec? Did
Yeah.
an Aztec just enter this room? What happened here? That was, man,
All
you were
right.
good.
All right. Fuck you.
Yeah,
All right.
classically trained actor, everyone. That was
true.
damn good.
It's true. I am an award-winning Shakespearean actor.
Oh, man.
Fact.
Did you hear it in that?
Do you see right over there is my gold medal? It's true.
Yeah.
You can see it.
It's gold. It is gold, everyone.
Yeah. Some royal guy gave me that.
Oh, man.
And a Riverside Shakespeare. But that's a story for another time. All right. So listen, shadow people is a big topic, and we're really kind of just glancing through different things here. I don't want to get a bunch of emails or anything else from people that are like diehard true believers in the paranormal about how like, well, but you didn't talk about the shadow people's agenda when they, it's a big topic. We're not going to hit every single thing about it. We're just kind of giving you highlights. Okay. So we talked about the incubus and the succubus. Also, there was the old hag.
All right, tell me about the old hag.
The old hag is just another form that the shadow people have been known to take. All right.
Okay.
Now, in the old days, they believed it was an actual, I don't know if they would have said it was a demon or a witch or what.
Right.
But it's actually where the term nightmare comes from.
Really?
I'm serious. Nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah. Because mare, I forget what it was, but it means something about a woman. And night means night. So, nightmare.
Man.
Yeah.
I see what they did there.
If this wasn't the second episode, I would have written that down and been able to explain it better. But
Yeah.
mare is some kind of woman. It's like a bad woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, night woman.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah. So that's where the term comes from. And to this day, the old hag is still one of the shapes that appears when people see shadow people.
Yes.
Now, I did not see the old hag, and I'm a little disappointed in that, because I want to meet the whole family, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if and my feeling is too, like, if the old hag is where it's at, and I have one of these episodes, I want the gold standard. Like, I want the celebrity of shadow people.
Yeah, she's the old pro.
Yeah, exactly. You got the rookie just black shape.
Yeah.
Like, he was still cutting his teeth. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna go."
But I mean, a Grim Reaper shape. You would think that's been around probably.
Yeah, but you
too.
know
Maybe
what?
that's where the Grim Reaper.
What I
comes
like about
from.
the old hag, I will say, like, she's not trying hard. She's like, I'm wearing sweatpants. Like, I'm just here. I'm so good. I don't need to dress up. You know, the kid wearing the Grim Reaper outfit. Like, he's trying so fucking hard.
He's the goth kid.
Like, he's the goth kid. Yeah.
Turn your mic a little bit. Yeah, he's hanging out at Hot Topic.
Oh, without question.
And just saying,
Yeah.
they're going to take me seriously someday.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel even worse about it. I was kind of down on it to begin with.
Yeah, you had like a C-level experience.
Yeah. All right, but listen. So then, so those are the kind of experiences that have been around for a really long time.
Right.
But I don't think, I've been following the paranormal since I was a child. I've been super into it. I don't think I really heard shadow people as we hear about them talk today. Hear about them talked. Is that the best way I could have put that?
Yeah, that
I
sounds
don't
about
think
right.
so.
That's good English.
Shadow people. The way we hear of them today. We didn't really hear about that until the 90s, I would say. It started in the 90s.
Yeah.
Hearing about shadow people. And you always heard about shadow people basically like the way I just described it. Like, that is a classic shadow person experience.
Exactly. I'm paralyzed. There's some sort of presence, black shape maybe, but there's something there, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. And we had the old hag, the hooded figure, which is the one I saw.
Right.
And then also, starting from what I can tell in the 80s and 90s, the Hat Man.
Hat Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's a humanoid shape again, except he's wearing
a hat.
like a fedora.
All right, he's got style.
Yeah. And he sounds pretty cool too. I would have liked to meet him.
Yeah, I
felt pretty good about having the Grim Reaper one until you made it sound like a...
Yeah, you're really
douchey
knocked down
goth.
a peg today, aren't you?
What's that?
You're really knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
You didn't get the old lady. You didn't get Hat Man. I mean, Hat Man's the shit. But you got...
Yeah.
Hat Man's like the Elvis Costello of these spirits. Yeah, you got a guy trying way too hard.
All right. Look, we've picked on him enough. Guy's got a job to do.
He's just doing his best.
Another change that we've seen more recently, because once anything gets popular, people have to one-up each other, right?
Right.
So now they're not just seen in bed.
Okay.
Now there's people seeing them. It started with, out of the corner of my eye, I saw such and such. I saw Hat Man. I saw Old Hag. I saw Douchey Goth.
Okay.
And the stories only get bigger over time. So now when you hear people talk about shadow people, you'll come up with scientific explanations, which we're going to get to in a few.
Okay.
But the experiencers will say, no, you don't understand. This was the middle of the day. And I was walking down Times Square. And a shadow person walked right up and possibly, right through them or something like that. Yeah. So now they're fully formed, and they're sometimes described as blacker than black.
Well, I mean, come on.
So it's a black. You don't understand. You don't even understand, man. It's a darker darkness than you've ever known.
Of course, yeah.
That's what you'll hear these days. And also, now they are popularly described as having red eyes. Right.
That's when I call bullshit on that.
Right. It's
since
creepy.
when is someone being paralyzed while you're sleeping and seeing a presence not good enough?
I know, right?
I mean, that's where I'm coming from.
That's what I was about to say. Like, what was wrong with the story I told you? True story.
Yeah. In fact, I would prefer to have it happen during the day and having a red-eyed guy. I think that's way less badass.
Yeah.
You didn't need to elevate that story.
Yeah, you would just be like, oh, that's like a hologram or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Tupac thing they did.
That's right top of my head, Tupac.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's just Tupac.
Yeah, it's just Tupac. Don't mind him. He's just Tupac. He's just hanging around.
Just making another record.
Yeah.
And you can look on YouTube. There's, especially lately, there's been a lot of videos about the Shadow Man experience.
Right.
And some videos even claiming to show proof of shadow people.
You know, Eric, he was kind enough to invite me to do this, and he gave me the topic beforehand. And I will say, I put minimal effort into researching. I didn't want to know too much. I wanted to go in with an open mind. But I did see a lot of bullshit Shadow Man videos in preparing. I saw some good ones, but I saw some real stretches.
To me, the most common thing that I think you see when you're watching an alleged Shadow Man, a lot of times it's like security camera footage.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, here's an empty McDonald's. But look, a shadow person comes and sits at the table. And then the manager comes in and he walks away or orders some fries.
You see that and like in your head, you're like, that's just poor quality video. I don't think there's a shadow person.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think in most of the shadow people videos, what we're seeing is a bug on the lens.
Right, yeah.
Because the camera can't focus on something that lands right on it. So you're seeing a blurred outline.
Exactly.
And it's sort of humanoid in that it has a head at the top, and then it kind of fans out around the bottom.
Exactly.
So
to me, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what are the shadow people? Well, like I said, the original explanation was basically that they were demons. Just a type of demon.
Okay.
Coming to steal your soul. And that's the other thing too. You hear people talk about, breathing problems. Like I said, I couldn't breathe. But a lot of times now, like the new age folks that are into the paranormal will say, well, that's because the shadow people are stealing your life essence.
That's really 21st century.
Yeah, if they're not outright choking you, then they say that they're stealing your life essence. And of course, in our human experience,
Jesus Christ,
the well of bullshit is deep here. So try to stick with me. But,
I'm with you. Yeah.
In the well of the human experience, that of course we would in our brain rationalize that it's our breath leaving our body, because that's how we see our life.
Now, in your situation, what would you say your life essence was before and after your situation?
That's, you know what? I never really thought about it, but maybe I have lost a little bit of my life essence.
Oh, I mean, I've only known you post Shadow Person.
That's true.
Like, I've always thought, his life essence was...
You should have known me before.
I should have. You were vibrant, just full of life, and now you're just beaten down and just are.
Miserable. That's why I became... I mean, like, comics are miserable, right? Like,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, misery loves comedy.
We all have a shadow person in our life.
Yeah. All right, so demons, anyway.
Demons.
Was one answer. But you're probably asking yourself, what does the Middle East think about this?
Hey, Eric, what does the Middle East think about this?
I will tell you.
Oh, good.
They would say that these may be what they refer to as jinns.
Jinns.
Better known to our Western ears as genies.
All right.
Now,
all right,
again,
I'm on board. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Again, you're going to have to bear with me.
Okay.
Because when I say a jinn or a genie, we're going to refer to them as jinns because that's the proper term.
Well, I mean, we're going to be official.
It is not what the white man, Western thought considers a genie.
Right.
Again, I could be completely wrong on this, but this is what I believe that jinns are supposed to be.
Okay, what are they supposed to be?
They are a race that existed before people.
Eric?
Okay.
All right.
And for whatever reason, they pissed off God. And God said, you guys got to get the fuck out.
Yeah, you guys knocked down a peg.
Out of this dimension.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do not have reign over Earth anymore.
Okay.
And then he created man.
As the story goes.
So now, the jinn hate mankind. Now, It may seem like this is a long time to hold a grudge. But the idea is that for jinn, And for demons,
right,
a human lifetime is nothing.
Yeah, it's like a blink.
Yeah. So that's why they still allegedly hold this grudge.
Yeah, I mean, just think of any time you have downtime. That's all I do in my downtime is hold grudges. Yeah, the jinns, they have an eternity to stew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So jinns are pissed off at humans, and what they're shown doing in the Muslim text, I believe, are basically trying to steer true believers, away from religion.
Okay.
All right. And corrupt them in that sense.
All right.
And lead them into bad choices.
That's a decent game plan.
So
you get them on the ground level.
Yeah.
That's good.
So again, that's very much like the Western demon idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And jinns are basically described as very much like shadow people. The only difference is so jinns appear with smoke around them, generally speaking.
Did they wear hats?
I don't recall if there's any mention of them wearing hats.
Old ladies?
I don't think there's
I
old
think the
ladies.
jinns are sexist, personally.
Yeah. Jinns appear with smoke around them most of the time. And that is a real sticking point that some paranormal researchers are very up in arms about. Like, no, if it has smoke around it, then it's not a shadow person. That's a jinn.
So there are people out there who are really, they really, let's go with the word care, if it's a shadow person or a jinn.
Yeah. Well, because in theory, they're not just like exploiting people's fears and trying to make money off getting speaking engagements.
Okay.
Which might be, but what they really care about is that they believe that these are real things in the world that you and me definitely and you maybe are not awake. We don't understand what's really happening.
Right.
And if we did, we'd be terrified because these things are real. And there are both shadow people and jinn, and they're different. And you need to know this, and you need to know the differences, and you need to understand why the jinn are here versus why the shadow people are here.
They're two different things. They serve two different purposes, and they both exist.
Right.
I could see that logic.
Yeah. I mean, if you follow the train of thought, the crazy-ass train of thought that you have to follow to make all these things.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've talked enough about the jinn, so let's get to the third explanation that I have here for them. That they are interdimensional beings.
What? Interdimensional beings. Okay.
Correct. They are coming from another dimension, or are we only catching glimpses of them because they're from another dimension? You look like you're about to burst. Is it just that your head's about to be blown?
My head's about to explode.
Okay.
I can't even comprehend the next dimension. I can't.
Well, the truth is, there's very real science that says that there may be more than one dimension.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah. And then there's also a multiverse theory. There's brain theory. We're going to get into a little bit of this.
All right.
And I want to say right up front, I am a big fan of science. I am a cheerleader for science.
Big time.
But I am not a scientist. I am not particularly smart.
Oh,
and so
you sell yourself short.
Well, thank you. If I discuss scientific topics, just trust that I'm trying to say the right thing.
Okay.
I might not get it quite right, but I'm trying.
Fun fact about me, Eric, I have a science degree.
Really?
Really.
In what? What science?
Biology.
Oh, there we go. All right.
This might be the first time I could use any of it. I doubt it, but we'll see.
All right. Now, I told you that I've watched a lot of documentaries about shadow people on YouTube.
You've told me.
I've told you a few times now.
A couple times.
And in one of those documentaries, they use a rather long quote from Professor Stephen Hawking.
So you're saying Stephen Hawking is on board with shadow people? Is that what you're saying?
That's what these people are claiming.
Let's hear it.
Now this is paraphrased, so it's not an exact quote. Okay? But he is basically saying that there is scientific evidence that there may be, or theories anyway, that there may be other dimensions.
Okay. That sounds legit so far.
And the question is, why can't if we can travel forward and backwards, side to side and up and down, why can't we travel in these other dimensions? if they exist? Why don't we know about them? Why can't we go
All
through
right,
them?
yeah, that's...
And there's a bunch of theories as to why that's true. But one of the theories is called brain theory, okay, which was presented by Paul Townsend of Cambridge.
Official.
So, smart guy.
All right.
And basically, and when we say brain, that's BRANE.
All right, not like the brain.
No, like a membrane.
Ah.
And the idea is that we are living inside of this brain.
Membrane.
And that is why we cannot experience other dimensions. Okay?
So we live our lives in our world inside of this brain.
Correct.
Okay.
But there may be other brains out there.
Like a parallel brain.
Yeah. Like bubbles in a cup of coffee. Air bubbles that you see at the top of a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And so what Stephen Hawking has to say about this, and the quote that shadow people enthusiasts love to use to support their belief in shadow people, is we can't see these other brains, but we may feel them because their gravity would spread through the extra dimensions from shadow brains that we can't see. There could be shadow galaxies, shadow stars, and even shadow people. To us, such subjects would appear to be dark matter that can't be seen, but whose gravity can be felt.
Wow. End of discussion. Case closed. Stephen Hawking. That's a golden endorsement.
Yeah, well, except I don't know. To me, it doesn't sound like he's not talking about shadow.
Wait, you don't think that Stephen Hawking, world-renowned physicist, spends his days in this time proving that shadow people exist? You don't think that's exactly what he meant by that statement?
No, I don't believe that is what he meant.
Wow. Eric, I don't know. Yeah, I'm in your camp. I don't think that's what he meant either.
Yeah. But they would love to present that as like their pseudoscience. When he uses the term shadow people, he's not literally talking about a shadowy figure from another dimension.
Right.
Okay? He might be talking about an actual person from another dimension.
He could be, yeah.
But he's not speaking of it as something that we can see or experience in any way other than maybe we get some hint because of feeling their gravity. No, and it's not some new age, like, oh, I feel, a pull when the moon is, it's not that. This is all like super scientific shit, which I'm not prepared to really. Yeah. I'm not equipped to really discuss.
That's a different podcast. We've established this
That's
is
right.
a mid-level podcast. That's high-level podcast
That's
stuff.
right.
We're keeping it mid-level here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ask Neil deGrasse Tyson about this.
Exactly.
All right?
Yeah.
Talk stars with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Exactly. This is spooky-ass shit.
That's right. So speaking of science, let's get into a scientific definition. 2 scientific theories as to what shadow people may be. Of course, one of them, and what I believe I experienced, is sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis. I've heard of this, yes.
Now, sleep paralysis is when your brain mostly wakes up before your body does.
Right.
Because, you're the biology major, so maybe you'll have something to add
Lay some
here.
science on you.
But it works something like this. When we fall asleep, our brain does something. I'm sure there's a name for it. I don't know it. Does something that paralyzes our body so that we don't act out our dreams.
Exactly, yeah.
Keep us safe, which is nice.
Exactly. So you're not wailing around your arms. If you're running in your sleep, you're not running.
Yeah, we've all had those weird moments where like we do like kick or something like that because we're running from something in a dream.
Happens.
But for the most part, we stay pretty
stay
still.
put. Stay put.
During sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And that's thanks to your brain, whatever this process in the brain is called. However, on some occasions, your brain can partially wake up without sending your body the signal to, hey, let's get moving.
Yeah.
And it only lasts a little bit.
Right.
Like seconds usually, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you're fine. But it can be hard to breathe because your body has slowed down the breathing process while you sleep. Everything is slowed down.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you're not fully awake, then then it will seem like you're having a really hard time breathing, even though you're just kind of sleep breathing.
Okay.
But they have noticed that it tends to happen to people who are sleeping on their back more often, which I was when it happened to me.
It's interesting.
So it might have something to do with how you're breathing.
It could be. Yeah.
As for seeing the shadow people, actually seeing the shadow people, there's a couple of theories as to how that may happen. One of them, it looked like you were just looking over my shoulder. We're not like...
Oh, I saw a shadow person.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah.
All right. One of the theories is that what we're doing is hallucinating because part of our brain is still in dream mode.
Okay.
So we're having these hallucinations.
Yeah, I mean, your body, in that case, your body's having a fight, whether am I asleep or am I awake? You get your sleep mechanism, you get your awake mechanism. Who's going to win?
Yeah.
And, in these type of situations, they're both a little bit winning.
Right. And there's no doubt, by the way, that your eyes are open. Like you're actually seeing your room. People are actually
And that's
seeing...
your awake side winning.
Right. But you're on top of that, you're also getting a little bit of the dream world.
And that's your sleep side winning.
There you go.
There you go. We brought it full circle here, folks.
But that's not all. Another reason why this may happen, not only for the folks who are seeing shadow people while they sleep, but also for the folks who are seeing shadow people out of the corner of their eye, or who find them. A lot of times you'll see pictures posted on the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a shadow person. And you, like, maybe if you look in those branches, you can kind of see a shape. But actually, humans are hardwired to see human forms and faces. This is something called pareidolia. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Pareidolia. Yeah, good old pareidolia.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know what pareidolia is, why don't you explain what pareidolia is?
Well, as I said, it is the tendency in humans to find patterns where none exist. We're going to get into this a lot on this podcast because we're going to talk about backmasking in music, which is when you play music backwards and you can hear words and all that.
You just want something to be there.
When you're looking for something,
you're going to find
be
it
there.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to take a shape that you're familiar with because your brain is trying to work it out.
Right.
Okay. So maybe the reason I didn't see the old hag was because I didn't know about the old hag.
Could be.
I did know about Grim Reapers.
Exactly. So
and I thought I was dying.
Your mind made it so.
So when I just saw like a black shape, which could have just been
a shadow. It
could have been hallucination from a dream.
Yeah.
It could just be that my eye hadn't fully woken up yet, and I was still just kind of seeing funky shapes.
Just groggy.
It could have been my eyelashes. Who knows?
Could be.
But my brain wanted to see something,
and it took it as Grim Reaper.
And warned me. And because I was not familiar, maybe because I wasn't familiar with the old hag and I wasn't familiar with the Hat Man.
Yeah.
It said, "Well, you're dying. That's a hooded figure. That's the Grim Reaper."
You make that connection in your brain. Yeah.
So I made that connection.
Wow.
I believe in science in this case. I think it has to do more with pareidolia and with sleep paralysis. And as for the people who say they see these things coming right at them with their red eyes,
they're full of shit.
Right in front of their faces. Who knows? I can't say that they're full of shit. Maybe they really are seeing things. There's any number of reasons. I've worked in the mental health field for a number of years. So there's any number of reasons why people may say that they see things.
All right. Well, yeah,
they may believe it.
Who am I to say that they're full of shit as well?
Yeah, but it's fun to talk about.
It is really fun to talk about.
That's why I've made a whole podcast about it.
Yeah, about spooky. And honestly, after hearing about it, I feel like this is a spooky-ass topic.
It is. And the thing is, whether we believe that they're interdimensional beings or demons or jinn or whatever they may be, or just some weird shit that you just happen to see out of your eyes, the fact is, when it happens to you, it is spooky ass shit.
Of course, yeah.
It is real. Like nobody denies that the experience is real. It's just a matter of what is it.
That's the scariest part is the experience. Whether it's, like I said, whether it's real or not real, you're living that. Your heart's pumping, you're breathing heavy.
And this one, like I said, I can speak from experience because it did happen to me.
And obviously it stuck with you.
It did.
So that is...
all these years later, it's the first real discussion that I've done on spooky ass shit.